unreasonable demands of you. They should be there to help you out. Holding a gun to your head and insisting that you must be reasonable and do things their way, that is not friendship. The United States has put us under severe stress. That's not what friends are for.
Former Prime Minister Bruce Golding. Ambassador Tapia, you're a former ambassador of the U.S. to Jamaica. Your reaction?
Well, the first thing is Golding has, the PNP has never been that close to the United States, no matter how you look at it. And Golding is just blowing off air when he actually made a comment in there about Trump losing the election, that it was stolen. So you can see where his thought process and his mind is not positive. His mind is, in that speech, is negative towards the United States, positive to his own party. So it's one of those things that you take with a grain of salt.
But did you hear him make a reference to Trump losing an election? Did he? I didn't hear
yes,
that.
he said something we didn't lose. He said he made a comment about and I didn't lose the election. Or no, the election was taken. Well, it was stolen. That's what the words were. The election was stolen. So that was in reference to.
No, Ambassador. Let's play it again.
What is being done to us is not friendship. Imposing arbitrary tariffs on us when we are struggling to make our goods competitive in a difficult market is not friendship. Dictating to us who we must do business with is not friendship. Forcing us to accept foreign deportees when we are struggling to look after our own people, that is not friendship. True friends don't abuse your friendship. They don't make unreasonable demands of you. They should be there to help you out. Holding a gun to your head and insisting that you must be reasonable and do things their way, that is not friendship. The United States has put us under severe stress. That's not what friends are for.
I don't hear any reference to Trump losing.
Yeah, you got to go through his whole program. At the end, he'll make a real snide remark to the fact about the election being stolen. But we can move on from that.
Yeah.
The first thing is the PNP, when they were in power for all those years and so forth, were not really a partnership with the U.S. They've got good people there. I mean, they've got good things, but at the same time, you've got a two-party system there. And of course, what he's saying is that we are not a good partner. Mm-hmm. And I believe that the United States has always been a good partner to Jamaica. Yes, we have problems. Yes, we have disagreements. Yes, we ask things of Jamaica, the same as in the backside, is Jamaica asks things of the U.S. Mm-hmm. So it's a shaking hands of trying to be partners, but yet it's like being married. You're not always going to agree with your wife, and she's not always going to agree with you.
Mm-hmm. But I think what the former Prime Minister was insisting on, though, is the diplomacy that is being practiced by the Trump administration is unlike what we have seen in previous times. It's unprecedented, where, as he said, they're literally, or symbolically, not literally, putting a gun to your head. And if you don't fall in line, you're punished. Yes, you're slapped with tariffs that will make your economy virtually in shambles. I think that is the point.
Well, Hugh, I cannot, in some ways, I agree with them from the standpoint of the tariffs that the present administration has put towards many countries, especially our friends, which is Canada and Mexico. I, as an individual and as a person that looks at it from a global standpoint, I disagree with. But at the same time, I'm not in a position of power to change that. Here, Mexico is through the U.S. to the automotive industry is very strong in parts and so forth. Canada. The thing that bothers me about Canada is that we receive timber and so forth from there. It's a small country with a small population. It's a big country, but a small population. So my views does not. I can't disagree with some of the statements he's making, but at the same time, I am not in the position or in the power to change that. And when the tariffs go on to other countries, it hurts your economy. The same as the U.S. economy. If you look at the U.S. economy, they say that it's booming. It's not booming from the standpoint of the average American person, because the cost of goods, gasoline, housing, food has gone up here in the U.S. So when you're in a position where they try to tie you to a party, a Republican or a Democratic Party, or the PNP and the JLP, there's going to be disagreements, and people that are here are going to say things and do things that we would disagree with. I disagree with this. The first Trump administration is entirely different than the second Trump administration. We're seeing that. Do I agree with the president today and some of the things that he's doing? No.
For example,
if I was the ambassador to Jamaica from the U.S., I would have a problem there. You have an incoming ambassador that actually says I'm Donald Trump in high heels.
Well,
so that's something that you should be looking at. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but she Carrie Lake, the nominated ambassador, we don't know if she will be confirmed. She has made it clear that she wants Jamaica to distance itself from China, which has been a good partner to Jamaica over a number of years, providing capital for very critical infrastructural development that the United States has not been able or not done. And she's now telling us that we should cut ties with China.
I have to correct that statement. I agree with on the back part, but the first part, when I was the ambassador there, we had a very good relationship. The first thing is that I came in when China took over the ports. Keep in mind that China controls the ports there in Jamaica. That was under the PNP. So when you turn around, you look at a long term, you can say things like that, but at the same time, China was taking it. Look at your highways; they control your highways and so forth. So there was things that were taking place there.
But they didn't control they don't control the ports, Ambassador Tapia. China doesn't control our ports.
They actually have the port. They were the managers of the ports. Then you might say.
No. There's no evidence of that.
Yes.
No, sir. The Chinese don't control our ports. Our ports is run by the Port Authority of Jamaica. That is essentially a government-owned and operated entity. No.
Well, go back and research, and you'll see that the Chinese had the big influence on it, the same as they had that they had a big influence on. I'm trying to think of the port that they now have backed away from on the south side of Jamaica. It was the ore that they were transporting there. I had no problems with when I was there with the Chinese from the standpoint that we became stronger with the Jamaican government. The PNP always had their policies and so forth that laid more to the left than to the right, and it still does today.
Well, let's move. It's 4 minutes after 11. Let's move to the other issue we invited you here today. Recently, the debate over Daryl Vaz and the revocation of his U.S. visa has come back, yes, in the public square in Jamaica. And Mr. Vaz issued a statement last Friday saying that he is unfazed by a new wave of attacks from what he calls PNP operatives on social media, whom he claims are seeking to damage his reputation. In a statement on Friday, Vaz said he has taken note of numerous videos alluding to the revocation of his United States visa a few years ago. He says it's clear those PNP operatives have not learnt their lesson.
I have seen the postings on social media as it relates to the re-emergence of my visa revocation matter, let me indicate again that I was cleared of these unfounded, politically based allegations by both the U.S. authorities and the Jamaican authorities. Hence, my visa being fully reinstated. Again, it seems as if the PNP operatives have not learned their lesson from their General Secretary's apology and retraction.
You served as ambassador to Kingston between 2019 and 2021. When this went down, ambassador, tell me, yes, you have subsequently.
No. Let me correct you. His visa was revocated before I got there. In 17, I think it was 17 is whenever they revoked his visa. I was there when I arrived. His visa was already revoked.
Mm-hmm. And when you got here and you were briefed, as you said in a letter, yes, that you wrote to
Yes.
U.S. senators.
That's correct. I was going to cover that.
Yes. You wrote in that letter, yeah, that you were made aware of allegations linking Minister Vaz to narcotics. The Vice Consul, Scott Feacon, suggested that if there was a connection to a high-profile visa holder, such as Minister Vaz, his visa was going to be revoked based on the allegations. Being new to the office, I accepted the information to be accurate. And you went on to say that, listen, this decision was made on evidence that was hearsay, didn't amount to more than hearsay allegations with no substance or evidence. And you feel that a wrong was done under your watch. Explain to our listeners or viewers what went through your mind when you decided to write this letter and to clear Vaz.
First of all, it was already revocated. The first time I met Daryl Vaz is when he stepped in when I was having a meeting with the Prime Minister, and I was introduced to him. When I got there in the briefings and so forth that you have from your intel and so forth, Daryl Vaz was exactly what you referred to. That's what I was briefed on. After reading all the briefings and so forth that on all the ministers that you get as the ambassador coming in, you get a complete dossier on each one and some of the things that they've done, some of the things that they said, some of the things that they acted on. It was, if you recall, it was not done immediately because the fact is, I came in as the ambassador with a jaundice feeling to Daryl Vaz, and that because of the information that I received. So it was more so the information that I received in briefings in the U.S. and there in Jamaica. Then it came about is that we started taking a look at all the dossiers and so forth that I had. The question was, I saw nothing that I had in file, in records in Jamaica against Daryl Vaz. So what I did is I called all my intel, INS, the FBI, the Drug Administration. I called everybody into a meeting in the embassy, all my officers there, and I said, I want you to research whatever files they have in Washington and all the files that we have here. And I want, within 30 days or with 45 days, I want a report of everything that they have against this minister. I didn't know Daryl Vaz that well. All right, so let's make that clear. The person, our ROS, was very, that knew Vaz. And so when we read most of these things that the PNP threw at him was when his father was a minister and Daryl Vaz was he was like 19 or 21, somewhere in there, of him being a carrier of information and so forth within Jamaica. Now, when we sat down in the embassy, we sat in the embassy, and every one of them, there was 14 people in that room. And we went through every challenge and every charge against Daryl Vaz that was brought against Daryl Vaz. And that most of the charges was brought against Daryl Vaz when his father and so forth was the minister, and he was connected to it. And most of those charges came from the PNP. Okay, hearsay. There was never, and I repeated that 3 times, never anything in the files that was being archived in Washington, D.C. or archived there in Jamaica that brought Daryl Vaz into handling, being involved in drugs, guns, narcotics. It was all hearsay. And you cannot convict a man on hearsay. My thing is this what it is? And that's when I wrote the letters to the senators and so forth that said, here's all the information that we have. There was more information that was attached to that letter that went back to Washington that actually said, there is nothing here. It's all hearsay. It came from an opposition. It's no different than a Democrat attacking a Republican or a Republican attacking a Democrat. There is no basis for what action the U.S. government took. That was fact. That was fact.
And you wrote in that letter that you circulated to all senators in the U.S.
That's correct.
You said no evidence has ever been submitted that relates to Minister Vaz. I strongly believe
that's correct.
I strongly believe the consular section and the U.S. State Department made a mistake by revoking Minister Vaz and his wife Anne-Marie visas based on circumstantial allegations and continued hearsay which were politically motivated. Wow. That
is
means,
that what I just... Hugh, is that not what I just said?
Yes, you did. You just say that. But I'm now reading from the letter that you actually put it in writing to the U.S. senators. Yes? And let me ask you, when you say, were these just loose talk by low-level politically motivated opposition figures that provided this information about him being involved in all kinds of illegal activities? Was this from low-level people?
Well, when you talk about low-level people, keep in mind that the officers that are there, that are the political appointments and also the U.S. government employees and so forth, they're gathering information on the streets and so forth.
Right.
They're picking up what people have said and so forth. So there a lot of intel. Keep in mind, a lot of intel is hearsay and meetings that somebody has said something with no substance.
Right.
And that's where I went to. I went to the substance. I didn't go to the hearsay so much of it. I went to the substance. Give me the substance of the charges that have been brought against Daryl Vaz. And keep in mind, during this period of time, I did not know Daryl Vaz that well. I know Daryl Vaz today more than I know Daryl Vaz very well today, but I did not know Daryl Vaz at the time. And it just came up when I had a meeting with Phillips, the head of the PNP, an issue of something of a dinner that I challenged him on. The fact is where I see some of the statements that have been made by some of your administration, but I can't find anything. Do you have anything of concrete that you can hand over to the U.S. government on Daryl Vaz's action and anything that have been said?
And the Phillips
they
here,
would never have apologized had they had any of that information.
Hold on, you just said something, Ambassador. You had a meeting with Phillips of the PNP?
That's right. I had a dinner with him.
And he raised this issue about Vaz? Did he?
I don't know if he raised it or I did. I could have raised it.
Okay. Yes. Well, Ambassador.
Because it was during his administration that all the charges and so forth came forward. It was not during the JLP. It was during his administration when he was in charge, when he was the ambassador, when he was the prime minister there.
No, he wasn't prime minister. He would have been a senior member of the government.
I'm sorry. Right.
Yes.
When he was member of the government. That's when the charges really came forth, and that's when Daryl Vaz's visa was revocated.
So tell me, Ambassador, for us ordinary Jamaicans not in the diplomatic field, how do these things work? You go have dinner and you sit and you talk about things happening in the country, and those become the basis on which you may act or follow up or not?
You keep in mind that Hugh, you're asking a question that you could answer very simply.
Yes.
When you meet with the opposition, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of things that you're searching for. You yourself, as the ambassador, are asking questions that have been brought up by the PNP. What you're doing is you're having a conversation with them. We talked about a lot of issues. We talked about a lot of issues of Jamaica, the economy. We talked about the people, how they would govern. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of things that come up whenever you're having dinner on a private at the same time at that dinner. There was probably 6 other PNP ministers that served during his time.
Yes. And when prime ministers are about to appoint cabinet ministers, they clear that with the U.S. Embassy as well? Do they?
No.
What happens?
No.
What happens?
The government of Jamaica, the PNP chair, the JLP, they are the ones that appoint their own cabinets. Uh-huh. There are things sometimes that they might ask of the embassy, of the American embassy. Do you have anything on these people? On my appointment. But we do not. Let me put this: as long as I was there, I never received a phone call from the Prime Minister to ask me to clear somebody of his cabinet, that he was appointing somebody in his cabinet. Mm-hmm. Not at all.
Okay. But you did write in that letter that upon election of his second term in September 2020, Prime Minister Holness informed me that Minister Daryl Vaz would be promoted to the Super Minister of Science, Energy and Technology, which leaves him privy to various sensitive conversations, clearances and
That's
duties
correct.
that include traveling to the U.S. for diplomatic relationship building. The Prime Minister requested that my office review the allegations against Minister Vaz.
That's correct. Now, keep in mind. Now, you're framing that like that ministers do that constantly. No, the fact is that he was going to be that he asked us to take a look at the charges, that allegations that was against Daryl Vaz. Mm-hmm. No question about that. If they asked the government, the U.S. government, to research in their files and so forth. But that is not why we were already in the process of doing that. Because when I got there, we received a dossier on every one of the ministers. We received the dossiers on a couple of them that of gun running, of in narcotics and so forth. So we had to drill. You have to drill down to that. The allegations of Daryl Vaz was so minimal at the time. We heard it. We thought he was a bad guy, and during the background that we do on the ministers that are in power, that are there, we want to know as much about them as they want to know about the incoming ambassador. So we do a background, more of a background check of all the officers coming in. That does not mean that it comes to the ambassador, because these are being done by the other departments within the embassy that are making the request, so that they can bring something forward. If in fact something came up, they can say, "Okay, here, yes, this is what we found." All right.
All right, Ambassador. And by the way, in your earlier comment in response to Bruce Golding, I don't know if you may have given the wrong impression, but Bruce Golding is a former Prime Minister with the governing Jamaica Labour Party. Yes? I just got a message that we need to make that clear, because you seem to be suggesting that Bruce is with the PNP.
I'm sorry, I misspoke there.
Yes.
I misspoke there.
Okay.
Yes.
So what are you doing now, Ambassador Tapia? Have you retired or what? I see you started a new college at the university you're associated with?
The University of St. Leo.
Yes.
St. Leo University there in Tampa, Florida. Also, I just got honored with the highest honor that the Chi Kappa Epsilon fraternity, in fact, it was over this weekend, awarded me their highest honor that they could place on somebody that was a member of the fraternity.
Yes.
We've been staying in touch. We have a couple programs going on in Jamaica with the nursing. We're trying to, in fact, we're putting together a program with the nursing program between the U.S. and in Jamaica. Right now, it's right down at Miami. I think it's Miami. No, it's. Let me see. It's. We have a program that's in session right now, where with Sandals, with Sandals that helping us fund some of the programs that we're trying to put together for Jamaica in training oncology nurses, because so with the West Indies, so the thing that we're looking at is if we can get this program put together with the West Indies, that the fact is that we could actually build an industry there where for oncology, and a lot of people don't know what oncology is, cancer,
Yes.
that it's a cancer clinic that could handle all of the Caribbean.
Yes.
So we would try to make that the center of the in the Caribbean. That Jamaica would be the lead on oncology.
Very good initiative. Very good. I hope it comes to fruition. Ambassador, you're a man from Arizona. The nominated ambassador of the U.S. to Jamaica, Carrie Lake, is also from Arizona. What do you make of her as a potential ambassador to Kingston?
Well, I'm going to be very candid with you, and I know that this is probably going to come back and bite me. Carrie Lake lost two elections here in the U.S. or in Arizona, which meant that the people here in Arizona did not want her on the ticket. Everybody else on that ticket won except Carrie Lake from the standpoint. Carrie Lake she identifies herself as a Donald Trump in high heels, and I think I mentioned that earlier. I will say right out, I would not trust her. And that's coming from an ambassador to somebody that might be coming into the ambassadorship there in Jamaica. She worked for the chairman of the Republican Party, and she let me put it this way, I'll back up. A person in Washington, when she was nominated, they were trying to get her to withdraw because she already lost 2 elections, all right? And they called the chairman and asked him if he would try to talk her out of it.
You don't trust her. You don't think she will make a good ambassador to Kingston?
My opinion is that the first thing is after she lost, she was actually appointed as second, not the head of Radio America or Radio Europe, whatever it is that they have, the free. She went in there and she screwed that up so bad that they pulled her out of there. They actually pulled her out of her position at the on what she was doing. She left. She canceled a program there that cost the U.S. $20 million because they had contracts. Then Trump pulled her. Trump pulled her out of there, and she sat around. She sat around a little bit in Mar-a-Lago, and then he nominated her to be the ambassador. Now, I will read you something that's actually, come here, Drew, come and find that. I will read you something that normally I would never read and tell you what they thought in Washington. And this is fact, that what I'm going to tell you.
Yes.
Hold on, he's going to look, he has to find this.
We're speaking with the former U.S. ambassador to Jamaica, Ambassador Donald Tapia, who is from Arizona. The incoming ambassador is also from Arizona, Carrie Lake. He would have known her. And I asked him to give us his reaction to the news that she has been nominated. And he said he doesn't trust her. Don't trust her. Hello, Ambassador? He's trying to pull up something.
I'm here.
Good.
Wait a minute, wait.
Go ahead.
Let me see if I can.
Yes.
Wait a minute, I'm trying to find it. Well, I can tell you what the essence is.
Yes, please.
Is that they thought that she would get that Washington, that after she would pull back out of the position that she was in Radio Free Europe or whatever it was, that they sent her or made that Trump made the nomination to for her to become the ambassador. They actually felt that she would be killed in the hearing. That she went to the hearing, and if you go back and you look at the hearing of her nomination in the Foreign Relations Committee, you'll see that it was not a very good or nice hearing. Okay.
Yes.
And the essence of it was they thought it would be that it would be stopped there. Well, Corning from Texas held it. And Corning just released it, I think, within the last 30 days. And of course, with Trump got into it with Corning, so Corning held the nomination, and then he released it. Word is now, I believe it's in the Senate now for a vote. She should, if everything goes well, she should be confirmed as the ambassador, but we don't know because I have been called by a few senators to ask me what my opinion was of Carrie Lake while she was here in Arizona. And my only thing that I have ever said is if the people of Arizona didn't want her on 2 ballots, that should tell you something that of her becoming an ambassador to Jamaica.
So you would have voted no. You would have voted no.
No. See, the essence of it was that Washington, a person there in Washington, I won't name his name, that actually came out of the White House, tried to stop her nomination. Jeff DeWitt at the time was as you know, was the chair of the Republican Party.
Yes.
When the nomination came up, I received 4 or 5 text messages from Washington about Carrie Lake. Well, what happened is that they asked her when she was going to run for the Senate to back off, and the chairman of the Republican Party actually he made a mistake. He should have not have done it himself. He should have sent somebody. But he actually said to her, "What's it going to take to get you to withdraw?" Well,
so Ambassador, apart from losing 2 elections in the state of Arizona, and Arizona has been leaning Republican, voting Republican over the years, and she was, we know, a former television news anchor at a local station there, and she's a very strong supporter of Trump. But tell me, apart from that, why do you think she will not make a good ambassador to Kingston, to Jamaica?
Well, first of all, is that she recorded all the conversation, and that's a conversation that she let out to the press. Is the conversation between her and Jeff DeWitt, who is the head of the Republican Party. He was instructed to meet with her. It was all recorded, and she presented the recording out to the general public. Normally, when you have a conversation like that, it's something that you keep very quiet. You don't bring it to the press. You don't let that information out. But she, being a news commentator, you might say, she let it out to the people that she was being tried to be I won't say the word blackmail, but she was trying that they were trying to remove her from her position. Now, one of the things that I did say to after it happened to the chairman, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that she was not elected to any office, because that, in fact, would have put you behind bars. She was not a public official, but had that happened and she was a public official in the U.S., would have put him behind bars.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Donald Tapia, you have dropped a bombshell on us here in Jamaica. Yeah? Yeah.
I'd love to, let me tell you, the people of Jamaica were the kindest people. They're wonderful people. But the problem, the thing that I found interesting, Hugh, was the fact that 1/3 of your population is in the U.S. And my thing was to try to bring industry back to Jamaica, to try to keep the young people from leaving Jamaica and going to the U.S. or going to Canada, or going to England, to try to keep them, because you got to build your country on the youth of the country. Yes. So that was one of the things that I harped on and continue to harp on, is that let's get industry back into Jamaica to keep the young people there, because when you look at the economy of Jamaica, there's no way that they can climb out of the economic structure that they were born into to move forward. And that's what that was my whole thing when I was the ambassador there. What can we do to help Jamaica keep Jamaicans home?
Yes.
To keep their kids here, to give them an opportunity for the future.
Yes.
That's why we're working on this ecology. Is yes. to try to keep to bring an ecology clinic strong enough with the help of Sandals and so forth, to bring people to Jamaica, to make Jamaica the ecology center of the Caribbean.
Ambassador, Ambassador, thanks very much for that initiative. But I have to ask you, you used a term that the incoming ambassador, if she makes it, if she is cleared and nominated, you described her as Trump in heels. What do you mean by that?
That's her words. I'm just quoting her words.
Oh, she said those words. Yes.
Yes.
And
that's it. I'm quoting her.
And tell us, based on your knowledge, experience in Jamaica, and what we are now seeing from the second Trump administration, what will that mean for Jamaica?
Hugh, I'm concerned. I'm concerned that the relationship between the U.S. and Jamaica could be damaged. When the president, and this is something for another conversation, but when the president leverages all of the things against other countries, and you haven't even touched on China, but when you look at all the tariffs that he has leveraged against some of our good allies, Germany. Take a look at Germany. Take a look at Canada. Take a look at Mexico. They are key allies to the United States. These are key. So I have, and I speak personally, and I don't know how other Americans feel, but I feel that when you turn your back on your friends, what type of person are you, and how strong are you going to build your administration? And there's problems in his administrations already.
So a Carrie Lake in Jamaica is going to damage further our relationship with the U.S. That's what you're saying.
I'm saying that Carrie Lake is. It's more like where do we send her? She's already lost 2 elections. She's already been pulled back from Voice of America. She's already been pulled back from there. Now she's in a nomination to be an ambassador, a person that speaks for the United States to Jamaica. I'll let the people of Jamaica, I'll let the people that hear this interview form their own opinion of that. I know what my opinion is,
Yes. Ambassador Donald
and I
Tapia.
think I voiced it, and Hugh, I think I voiced it very strongly.
Very strongly. Very strongly. Frankly, in a stunning manner. You have stunned us. The reactions online to your comment, stunning, bombshell. Does he know that he's live on radio in Jamaica? Ambassador Donald Tapia.
Do I know?
Yes, they're asking if you realize that you're live on radio in Jamaica.
I know when Hugh calls,
Cliff
it's always
Hughes.
live.
Yeah.
It's always going to be bombshells. And it's always going to be pointed questions. He's known for that. I respect him, and I used to love bartering back and forth with Hugh.
Yes.
He's very well versed, and the questions he asks are not softballs; they're hardballs.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Tapia. Take care of yourself.
Same here, Hugh. Same to you.
Good.